Namaste, Jai Bharat. I happened to see a video of Dr. Moeed Pirzada. I hope I got the name correctly pronounced. The similar name is Moise. That's the Maldivian president. I don't know what's the original name, but then this is how it's getting pronounced. I think. I'm not sure. So this is an interesting video. I found it very interesting because he right in the beginning he says that he's speaking from US, a place he said, I don't remember. And he's speaking from US. That's one thing he says very clearly. And then he also, in which he mentions that this video is not being promoted or pushed forward. By whom is not very clear. It's for us to assume. Because all these things he says to probably to present himself as very objective and neutral, all kinds of things. But this video so is far from being neutral, though it's chocolate coated covered. The thing is that he outrightly says that Bharat is not prepared for a war with Pakistan and Bharatiya Sena is not ready. That's a point which he was trying to make. Then he gives a lot of narratives. In between, he keeps telling that I have talked to so many people, such and such people, so and so, etc., etc. He keeps telling, and he says that he spoke to experts with a different spelling. No, he doesn't. But I would like to pronounce it as experts with a different spelling. The spelling which our Alok Ranjan from Delhi, who's a YouTuber, reaction video makes in Hindi. So he uses a special spelling for experts, and I prefer to use that spelling for you to find out. So he says that our Sena is not ready, and he says particularly the Indian Air Force is not ready for a battle. Now he has a narrative. He says that our equipments and war tools are far old, not very latest, and they have latest, and all those things he's trying to say. Percentage wise, he's trying to present data. This is something like the some agencies, somewhere placed mostly in US, etc. There are so spurious agencies who would sit and make hedonistic calculuses like happiness index, idiots. Because this was 200 years before, 100 years plus before, this was very badly rejected in London when James Stuart Mill and James Mill and Jeremy Bentham, these two thinkers were trying to make hedonism and hedonistic calculus such theories, as people have absolutely no idea, I'm sure, about such things. And then he also tried to say the how do you make a happiness index. That's a happiness index is, he says this hedonism should be a theory which is prescriptive, that maximum happiness of maximum people. And how do you say one is happy? Then he has a list of criteria. Now, fecundity, fidelity, etc. All those things he's trying to make. And then, of course, the reaction to this was from the son of James Stuart Mill, his son, John Stuart Mill. He reacts in this following manner. If I remember, the quotation is something like this: I prefer to be the most unhappy Socrates than the happiest pig in the world. If I remember right, this is the exact expression he made, John Mill, against his own father, James Mill. Because he says, given these criteria of happiness index, a pig is much more happier than a human. Now this happened long back, last century it happened, and these people have absolutely no idea of such things that took place in the world of philosophy in Britain, in UK, and I don't know how many British people know it. They are not that lettered as compared. Though they speak and claim about so many things, that's of course they're not that as I see. So similarly, then they make happiness index. The happiness index is evidently very trivial, and no one is going to accept it. It makes us laugh. Actually, you think we are idiots and fools? It gives us good laugh. Like many such videos we see in based or supporting Pakistan gives us good laugh, and it's very entertaining, and no one takes us, at least in our nation, Bharat, no one takes us serious. So this man says that Bharatiya Sena is not prepared because we have not very updated machines. And he was speaking in his perspective it is Urdu, in my perspective it is Hindi, because for me there is no language like as Urdu, because when you write Hindi in Persian script and call it as Urdu and blend a lot of Persian words in it, and you think it becomes a language, I don't agree to that. It's not a language at all. It's just a diluted or abbreviated version of the language which we speak in our nation, Hindi, and you call it as Urdu. I don't know how to call this as Urdu. Something like the Pakistani defense minister who says there is no Lashkar, there is no Lashkar Tayyiba, they are extinct, and they put another name. And do you think you can fool us? We know it's another name. It's something like you change your shirt, you change names, and that doesn't make that doesn't. You think you can fool people and can't do it. And when you say tell a lie, it's evident from your facial expression and lies and eyes. It's very evident. You need to make an effort to make a lie, and that effort is very visible in such people's body language. Anyway, that's not the point of discussion here. The point of discussion is this video in which he says Bharat is not prepared, and he is trying to say that probably he speaks with the Pakistani perspective, so probably he speaks that he speaks in terms of the situation what he finds in Pakistan, where the army doesn't bother about the civil administration. The army doesn't care. Army has its own way, their own way, and they go their own way. No one is able to control. No one even know what the army is going to do. I'm sure the the Shehbaz Sharif person, the Prime Minister, ever knew that the army is sending Lashkar people under disguise a different name to Kashmir to kill innocent people, and then they lament the innocent farmers are suffering in Sindh, Punjab. Yeah, if you kill innocent people will suffer, and it is for those innocent people to rise against the administration who facilitated their miseries. It's for them. So why should I have sympathy to innocent people when you never had sympathies to innocent people? The Hamas never had sympathies to innocent Jews just by virtue of them being Jews. Similarly, you have no sympathy to Hindu just by virtue of one being a Hindu. You expect me back? It's in our culture, in our dharma, given as the Hindu dharma, we will give back as you give us. That's it. We don't follow the Christian principle of love. You slap me on one face, one cheek, I'll show the other cheek. Nothing like that. All our gods and goddesses carry weapons, but weapons are not for show. They are to be used when needed, and we will use it when needed. Now the thing is that he's trying to present that Bharat is not equipped to make a war. Of course, we don't want a war. That's a matter of fact. We don't want a battle because we care for our soldiers, and as we see in the experience, you don't care for your soldiers. You generally sit on some other pedestal and don't care for your soldiers, and even don't come back to pick up the dead bodies. Many occasions are there. We can't afford that. We don't want to get our people killed. We don't want to spend money on bullets. There are other ways to suffocate you. And one is this, and why should you have any relationship with the people who are not transparent? Okay, translucent, at least we can acceptable, but completely opaque. There's no point in having a relationship with people who doesn't speak, who doesn't mean what they say, and who is accountable for Pakistan. To whom should I talk to? Suppose I am holding some post for my nation, and if I want to talk to Pakistan, who will I talk to? The army, or the many outfits, or the poor elected fellows who are supposed to dance according to the tune of the army and speak nonsense, giving big talks and doing nothing. And what's the point of talking to such people who can't make sense? So we can't talk to people. So it's better not to speak. Mukam karoti vachalam, Gita taught us, where silence is more meaningful than much words. And that of course is taught to us by our own scriptures, and we know what it means, and we should also know where it should be implemented. So this person is trying to whitewash a lot, just saying that we are not prepared, and he says the Prime Minister wants to go for a battle and the army refuses. That is his implied intention to say that. But look, this is not Pakistan, this is Bharat. The army has its place. They don't decide anything of their own. because the army has a distinct and definite job on which they do very well, much better than many other people. Discipline is what is basically needed for a soldier, and our soldiers are disciplined far beyond many others. And our administration, our rule, they are not fools of these days at least. They don't make mistakes, they think and they act. And when they act in capital letters. So, and one more thing actually. You speak about latest achievements. How about the ability of the soldiers fighting? For instance, the pilot capacity. You had the Star jet in 71, and we got it shot down by a nat pilot. Is there any comparison between the Star fighter aircraft and our nat? Those days, our nat, these days we don't use it anymore. Is there any comparison? Absolutely not. But how we shot it down? The capability of the pilot. We are not chocolate boys sitting in the cockpit. We are not chocolate boys sitting in the cockpit and holding joysticks for fun. No. The ability counts, the skill counts, the capability counts, and we are much far beyond capable than what do you think. You think Pakistan is Punjab, of course, we understand. You think Bharat is just Punjab? No. We have many multiple Punjabs in our nation, from south to north and north to south and west to east and east to west. The different kinds of people with multiple capabilities, multiple capacities. Someone good in this, someone good in that. We have such varieties of capable people, and you think you can underestimate us? You do underestimate. You, at least your purpose is to present that we are not prepared. It's not that we are not prepared. We don't want is the question. Personally, I don't want to go for a battle. And if there's a battle, that's going to be devastating, all out. But we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. We have nothing against people of any place. People of one person is this Asim Munir, who is instrumental in all those things. Only who cooked out all the stories, who is responsible, because he is losing his time. He will cease to be chief in some time, and he wants to continue in authority. He is trying to become popular, and is unpopular very bad. Because Pakistanis basically think their army is something mighty. They simply think. It's so smooth on their imagination to think that the army is great, and they think that the army is great, and the army generals are heroes, and this man has proven himself to be zero. So from being a zero, he wants to be hero, and he just does this kind of things. And the villages are giving them banging the Pakistan army left and right, and they're taking it. Villages are not equipped. They're not equipped. They're not facilitated. They don't have anything. But they do fight because they have a fighting spirit. They're fighting for a cause. They're freedom fighters. They have been subjugated by the Punjabi people of Pakistan for a long, long time, and no one likes Punjabis. Of course, our Punjabis also don't like, because we consider you as not Punjabis. You're not Punjabis at all. You don't have any Punjabi character, because we have a concept of Punjabi where you don't fit in. So this person is trying to make like this, and his doctor, Mossad, it should be Moidu, Mossad Pirzada. He was trying to make it in a very good voice, very calm voice, very good presentation. He sits in somewhere in US, and he speaks, and he also says that he is not very free to speak, so he tries to be objective. These are all things he implies. The overall picture is they're trying to create a narrative that our army is not ready, though our civil administration wants to fight the battle with Pakistan. This is what they're trying to say. We are not fighting for a reason which you don't understand. That's not your problem. That's not even our problem. We know what we're doing. But they are trying to say that just because there have been no battle in the last couple of days, which you anticipated, you are trying to conclude, you're trying to project that the army is not ready. So army is not cooperating. That's unthinkable in Bharatiya context, especially with the present government. The army is not cooperating. That is impossible. They are more enthusiastic because that's a profession that they do. But that's a different story. We know what we are, and we know where we are. If you expect that we go for a battle, we don't want to go for a battle. That's what I think personally. I don't know. I'm not in the statecraft. I'm just speculating, only speculating. If I'm there, I would not go for a battle just like that, because there are many other ways and means to put you on your knees. Many other ways without bloodshed. Why should you have go for bloodshed? This one thing is sufficient. Hooka pani band karega. That's it. That's one thing. There are many other things we can do. We can do many other things without going for a battle. You don't know that, but your brains are clogged with animal fat. I'm not telling you to become vegetarian, but eat less meat. You can speak more sensibly. We shall meet again. Till then, Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram.